Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever this message finds you. I thank you for your time here. I thank you for your beautiful energy. I am doing things a little bit differently, and I'm even probably just starting a whole new channel over, and I just kind of got that download as I just finished my first reading in this style with just channeled messages, where I will use cards, but I'm not going to use them in the entirety of tarot, like doing spreads, and I might get back into that, but for right now, my downloads and my channeled messages are really strong, and Spirit's been really pushing me to do this, so I'm going to have to trust that and kind of move forward with that new energy. And part of this is I have received some channel downloads that I'm trying to figure out how, as these downloads come in, to get them written down, because they happen at interesting times, most often when I'm in nature. So nature, you may have some sort of special connection with nature that might be, you know, intuitive messages. These kind of intuitive downloaded messages, they come to me through nature. A card that just flipped over was double mission, right? Light worker, starseed, serve the world by being you. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Right? Whoever you are out there, right? You may identify as a starseed, as a light worker. But like I was saying, right? So these happen at interesting times in my day. Sometimes I'll be at work. Sometimes I'll be, you know, walking my dog. Sometimes I'll just be, right? It feels like it's a double mission, right? Like Spirit's like, yeah, go exercise. And I'm like, great. And then all of a sudden it's just like, I get flooded with this download and the signs and the synchronicities, and they're all lining up. So that may resonate with you, right? Whoever you are out there. It's kind of like, you know, I have a job, and I'm a mom, and I have other things that, you know, ideas and things, of course, that, you know, I'd love to get off the ground. And this for me has always been, you know, a labor of love, and it's not a labor at all. Actually, it's a passion project. I guess that would be more like the best way to say it, right? I don't do it for money, but I do it because I feel like, you know, when people say like, oh, you know, purpose, and it's like, well, I can't tell you how many amazing readers, you know, I consider to be my earth angels that have brought, you know, their purpose has guided a light. And so if these messages reach just the one individual that they were supposed to reach, and these messages are timeless, so, you know, I may put out this message for it to reach someone, you know, today, a month, a year down the road, and to me that's good enough, right? Spirit says, you know, it's kind of like let go, let God, right? Whatever you believe in, right? Let go and let the universe take control, right? Whatever that is. So whatever higher vibrational energy. And so you may feel like you're on a double mission, right? Like, let me just get closer without knocking over my phone. Okay, a double mission, right? Is that so blurry? Let me try. I also had to get like a new setup for my phone because I ran out of memory. And so Spirit provided the way for that to happen, and super grateful. 333 on the clock. Yes. Being on a double mission. Right? light worker, starseed energy. Being divinely guided, right? I see like that star energy, right? Tapping into that beautiful intuition that's here. It's right, this North Star energy. Sorry, I just got off work and I have cuts on my fingers. I'm just kind of a mess, but Spirit said not to worry about it, so I'm not going to worry about it. Here, this one's better. But yeah, that little North Star energy, it's like tapping into the intuition, even with your eyes closed. It's like golden child. I just heard like golden child energy, and beautiful. Okay, so circling back to how I just put this in my phone, and Spirit said don't worry about it, the message is going to get to the right person when they're supposed to stumble across it, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to put out these downloads, and if they come in and I can do them lifetime and life permits that, then I will. But I always trust that my guides know when these are supposed to make it out to you. Again, these messages are timeless, so even if I got it and delivered it in real time, this message not find the individual it was intended for. So that's why I don't worry about you know, when life gets busy and I get the download, and or I pass out after working and momming and doing all the things, right? Spirit says, don't worry about it. The time will come and you will get the message at just the right time. And that's happened through countless encounters of my own with readings and signs and synchronicities. So I trust that to be true for you, collective, as well. The message that I got, right? So I get these like signs and synchronicities a lot now. My downloads are connected to nature. They used to be heavily rooted in tarot. And since the eclipse season, I was really called kind of away from tarot on a collective personal reading, even really scaled back on doing them for myself. And then as soon as this last full moon in Gemini hit, I definitely felt a sense of clarity that it was back on, but it was back on different and stronger. And I just heard more better. Someone might say that because I don't really say more better. Interesting. And so, this particular download that I got, right? Sometimes they come through as visions in my meditations or in my prayers. And this particular download that I got, right? So I was walking at the beach. I had found the time to go connect and, you know, really in self-care energy. So that may resonate with somebody out there, right? Tapping into that self-care energy, whether that's something you're doing or you're being called to do, or a nudge or a confirmation, right? So self-care energy, and or just connecting with nature, period. But I was walking at the beach. Now, I had grown up and lived in this area my whole life, actually. And I don't live there currently, but I was in the area, and so I decided to take a walk. I had a good chunk of time, and this is a beach I'm very familiar with, right? So I met my son's fathers down there, and again, it was a place that I grew up in from birth until, you know, well, I don't know if I ever really left, but so hometown energy, that's what I just heard. Hometown energy. So a sense of familiarity is actually what that connection just circled back to. So being in a place of familiarity in your life, collective, right? That may resonate with you. So I'm walking and I extended further than I was intending to, right? Normally I jump in the water and it's getting colder here, and I think I did jump in that water the day, but I decided instead to go for a longer walk. So I did a little polar bear swim, right? Stepping out of my comfort zone. I got uncomfortable. I knew it was good for me. I knew it was a great, you know, cleansing, you know, huge salt bath, if you will, salt soak, the opposite of a warm bath. So again, the uncomfortableness, but also knowing that it's good for me. So I pushed myself. It was still a beautiful day, but it was chilly. And so, it's interesting, double mission. I just got that. So I was on a double mission, right? I had to do some serious momming that day, but Spirit said, hey, you have the time, right? You have the time to take a little time for yourself. And had I not done this, I would have never gotten this download. So maybe I would have, and it would have come through differently. It doesn't matter. I was on a double mission that day. So whoever you are, it feels like there might be something that you do, right? Like you may have like a day job or something, and it might be something totally different from kind of like your light work or your passion or your self-care energy, right? Or how and where you receive your downloads. So as I'm walking along on my extended, right, pushing past the uncomfortable, I've decided to go into a place I don't normally go, right? That can resonate in terms of like where you are in life on your journey, right? Like extending yourself past points of comfortability, right? That's where we grow. And I was able for the first time ever in 40 plus years, I was able to walk around this one particular, we'll say like a rock outcropping that typically, well, no, not typically. I raised my babies on this beach. This was kind of like my home stretch. And to be honest, I don't know if I've ever been able to walk around it as low as the tide was. It was, when I say like, I've been able to like walk around it or like run fast in between sets or something like that. But when I say walk around it, I mean like, it almost scared me. Like, it was almost like, you know, what you'd seen like maybe a tsunami movie. It's like, watch out, the tide's receding kind of a thing. And I knew that wasn't happening, but the sense of fear kind of like, wow, like, is everything okay? Like, where did the water go? And then I just stood there in kind of like awe and appreciation for the fact that it was like a view that I couldn't see, right? It was something that I couldn't see normally, not just normally, but if I had seen it, it wasn't as clear as I'd been able to see it. It wasn't the amount of clarity as I, you know, walked around this kind of jetty area. I was not able to see with such clarity after I got over my initial fear, because, yeah, anyways. And I saw it from a different point of view. And so the message that I got and the download, because I do have some notes jotted down about it, it was like, I wrote down, I had to wait for the right time to walk around it. Something about the perfect time to access something that was normally not accessible. And finding a great amount of satisfaction in being allowed to go somewhere you normally aren't allowed to access, to see the surface, what is beneath the surface, visual access and clarity, seeing what you can normally not see, having a that's funny, having a tiny workout. I don't know, it's a voice to text thing, so sometimes things slip in there. Anyways, the message that I got from that collective, right? And I use that kind of like as an analogy for the energy that I'm picking up on for whoever it is that I'm tapping into right now. It's like, there is something about your clarity, right? Your vision, whether this is a vision you have for yourself, an experience, a situation, a new adventure, there's a certain sense of accessibility, right, within this vision that you haven't had before. Whether this is, you know, happened collectively, I've noticed that it's happened for a lot of individuals shortly after the full moon energy, right after the double eclipse full moon. I think it was like a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse and a full moon all in 1 month. That was a lot of energy. And now that we've just had a single cycle full moon, which I believe is in Gemini, right? So again, I'm not an astrologer, and if I'm ever incorrect, I beg you to educate me. I'm here to learn, and I love astrology. I have such respect for it, but it is overwhelming, and I look forward to the time when I can spend more time in that, but right now that's not where my energy is being called. So I love to learn little tidbits, but I do believe that we are in the Gemini full moon that has just passed. All that being said, whatever this is for you, whatever this sense of clarity that normally you haven't had access to, whether these are your downloads or information, right, in the actual 3D, there is something, right, that you're being called into, right? The card here says serving the world by being you. And so that tells me that as you get this sense of clarity, right, it's like I did just hear Akashic records, right? It's like tidbits of your Akashic records are being opened up to you as you accept your role as a starseed, as a light worker, as you know, see things like you haven't seen them before. And maybe this is something that you've known to have existed within you your whole life, right? I'm using the walk around the jetty and the accessibility kind of as like a metaphor for this. It's like that was just like part of the vision that I got, but I knew it was much bigger than that. I knew that that was like a collective energy of whoever's energy this is that I'm tapping into. It's like your guides, your ancestors, your angels have been waiting for this time, right? Age is irrelevant. This has nothing to do with age. This has to do with you know, the lessons that you have learned along this path. And as each lesson is unlocked, it's like, you know, that it's like little bits of your Akashic record are released to you. It's I think the last reading I did, I said something about, and that was really just like an introduction to this like new channel idea. Oh, and I guess that's part of it. It's like I was saying, duh. But you know, it's like, even for myself, like this new sense of clarity on how I'm getting my downloads. It's right, like I don't need the cards. And I've always been an intuitive reader, which always made me feel insecure, like I should know more about the cards. But Spirit says, no, you're perfect just the way you are, right? The way you get your information isn't like anyone else, just like the way that the readers that you love, like they all do their tarot cards differently. Some of them are in tarot, are just actual intuitive messages. And I think that's like really what kicked this off for me. It's like, no, I have so much respect for how everyone does everything differently. And yes, I'm just uniquely me. And yeah, I'm gonna stumble and I'm gonna, you know, evolve and figure out how to get a better setup. And at this point in the game, I'm just staying present and like super grateful for the fact that I have a phone now that can record, and I'm not like constantly getting kicked out and can't upload my messages because I've run out of space. It's like, no, Spirit provided a way. And you know, just because the funds became available to get like a new phone to like make these messages happen with more ease, which makes my life so much easier, because I was having a hard time like erasing things off my phone because, you know, it's a personal device. So now that I have those two things separate, it's like, you know, just because you get the downloads, right, doesn't mean, okay, so now you have the downloads. Now you know what your mission is. It might not be, you know, to be a reader or to be an intuitive reader, but what's your light work mission, right? What is your purpose? What is that thing that you've been called to in your double mission, right? I make money doing other things outside of this, right? But do I know I have a mission? Yes, I do. Am I very clear? Has Spirit, my guides, my angels, my ancestors, right? God himself has made these messages very clear to me. And just because they provided a way doesn't mean that I'd love to manifest, and I am manifesting my most amazing reality. And I think that's like the idea. It's like stepping outside of the fear, right? Like if I would have let my fear being like, oh no, there could be a tsunami coming, right? The waters receded. You know, in the past, that probably actually would have freaked me out, right? I always grew up by the beach, and for some reason, I always, you know, it's probably like some past life trauma or something, like, you know, having to do with like large bodies of water in some way. But I've healed that, or I'm in the process of healing that, and I understand what that is, and that energy does not belong to me here. And so when I conquer those fears and I walk around, and then I got the download, right? Then I got the very clear insight on what the message was, and it was just bigger than the jetty I was walking around, or the clarity that I saw within that. You know, Spirit was like, no, there's a bigger message, and it's going to get to the person that needs to, but you need to be the one to put the phone, you know, like, yeah, we can give you a new phone, but what are you going to do with the new phone? You know, we can make the money happen, but are you going to be brave enough to put the message out where you're just going to be sitting here with a single card, not doing tarot, right? Yeah, I am. And that's the message for you, collective. Whatever you're being called to do, whatever it is that, and however you get your downloads, right? Because we all get them. And that's that's the download that I've gotten. It's like we all do these things so beautifully different and uniquely us. It's like a thumbprint. You know, I talk about Akashic records, and it's like, no, it's like a birth and a death. No one birth, even if you're twins or triplets, will be the same, and no one death will be the same. So, just like you, whoever you are, right? Whatever it is that you're being called into your light work, into your starseed energy, as your double agent, right? As you are working for the divine, and what are you going to do with that, right? I am, with grace, learning how to let go of controlling people, places, situations, experiences, and I did that out of fear of being hurt. I did that out of fear of being made fun of. I did that out of fear of success itself. But I've already quote unquote won, right? I already have, if we're just talking present, you know, if this was just the present here, I've already won. And I know that. And Divine's made that very clear. And I see that, you know, everything that I have now is something that I wanted, you know, last year or even just, you know, yesterday, to be honest, in some cases, right? I've taken a lot of L's and I've taken a lot of wins, and I had to take a lot of L's, a lot of L's on my journey, and maybe you have too. But that was not for nothing, because see, without those L's, I wouldn't have understood what my self-worth would. I wouldn't have understood how to stand up for myself with healthy boundaries, and to get rid of my people pleasing, and to not care what people think, and to have the comfortability of saying, yeah, you know, I have gifts and they're not like normal gifts, right? What's normal? I mean, maybe in some other culture, in some other timeline, in some other lifetime, maybe they were normal, but in this timeline, you know, they're becoming more acceptable. And I'm not afraid to say that I do tarot, or that I'm an intuitive reader, and whatever your gifts are for you. I think that's part of the message, right? When you release the fear, when you push past the uncomfortable, you get that, or you will get that, you know, in the near future, that certain sense of clarity, right? That, what does it say? Serve the world by being you, right? Just by being your unique self. It doesn't need to be anything elaborate or anything more than that. It's like, I was thinking about how many different ways I can do a setup and aesthetically pleasing, because I love aesthetics, and Spirit says you don't need that right now. Like, maybe if it evolves into that right now, but right now this is just about me strengthening my gifts, me making sure that the message, which is the most important thing, right? Not how it looks, whatever this is, maybe whether this is your personal self, right? Not how you physically look or how you're presenting yourself. It's how are you showing up for yourself is the message that Spirit wants me to get across, right? And so I think that's the message. I think that's the message, is how are you showing up for yourself? How are you living in your authentic truth, right? And, oh, my screen closed. Hold on, what was the last part of the message I said? Oh, seeing beneath the surface. And I thought of that like as like the ocean gets dark beneath the surface, right? Doing the work, doing the things that make you uncomfortable. It's like people ask me all the time, like, how do I get into shadow work? I've never even heard that term before. And anything that makes you uncomfortable is the things, is the feelings that make you uncomfortable. And I'm not talking like creepy uncomfortable. I'm talking like the feels, right? The things that you have a difficult time talking about, whether you talk to them with a professional or whether you start journaling and really digging into that on a personal level. Right here, I feel like Spirit, 23:23 on the clock, right? 23:23. Spirit here is saying, you know, as you continue to do the work, whether you have, or this is a confirmation, or this is an energy that you're just now, you know, tapping into, something's going to be revealed to you, right? Or things will continue. You will have a certain sense of clarity, this new vision, right? Looking, I keep hearing it. It's like when you stop looking for it and you just accept it as the truth that it is, whatever that means to you. I mean, this could relate to a person. I'm not quite sure, right? It's going to be a little different for everybody. This could be purpose. This could be in love. This could be in so many different ways. But whenever it is that you stop looking for it, right, and you dig into the authenticity of, I just sort of being of service. So maybe this isn't in love. I take that back. That may just be for like one person, but you'll know if that's for you. But I really do feel like collectively this is really about purpose and service. And if this hasn't been revealed to you, right, you're going to have to figure out, right, meditate, pray, whatever it is that you do to tap into that energy with the divine, with your guides, with God, with creator, universe, right, your angels, your ancestors, or all of the above, ancient ones. Access, clarity, all of those things will be granted to you. Or maybe they have, or they will. But being authentically yourself, right? You are a light worker. You are a starseed, right? You are on a double mission. Yes, you may have a day job in an office, right? You may be behind a computer all the day, and then you go out and even just talking to the people at the grocery store, whatever that is, whether it's, you know, even just the energy that you bring into your actual office, the work that you do outside of work, the healing work, and sometimes you're placed in those places like office buildings, or just very matrixy kind of places, because I think that's oftentimes where light workers and starseeds are sent to, because that's the place that most needs the love, most needs the healing. And is that difficult? Yes, but it's like a muscle, right? The more you do the healing, the more you push past your uncomfortable, stepping into those situations becomes easier, because you remove your energy on a personal level and you're able to do your work, and you know exactly what that means. If this message is for you, you know exactly what I mean. You are that one person in your job place, and you could work at Starbucks. I don't really know, right? It's going to be different, but just like your jobs evolve, your healing journey evolves, you continue to evolve, whoever you are. Spirit saying, as you continue to do the work, access, clarity, things that were not accessible in terms of, like, you know, unlocking your Akashic records, really, kind of, right? Those things, without even like saying, hey, that's what I'm looking for, because even if you'd like that, your guides, you know, God himself might be like, yeah, time's not right. You have a few more lessons to learn, right? And so it's not like you ask for that. It just happens. Sometimes when you're asleep, just in a natural state, sometimes in this lifetime, sometimes in the next. You can't ask for it. It's just one of those gifts, right? It's like granting visibility because you're doing the work. So, I don't know. Spirit says to end it there, so I'm going to end it there. 27:47 o'clock. So, I thank you first and foremost so much for your beautiful energy. Thank you for your time. Time really, to me, is one of the most precious gifts. So if you've made it this far, I thank you so much for your time. If you feel like these messages resonate, of course, it'd be great on an energetic level if it's easier for me to tap into your energy. If you do like, and of course, if you dig the energy, subscribe. But again, more than anything, overall, if you've made it to this point in the message, I thank you for your time. I do hope that this message finds whoever needs it at just the right time. Please say again, take only what resonates, leave the rest, and I will catch you on the next one. Thank you. Bye.